Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Dr. Nick, and welcome back to the Dr. Nick Show. So, WrestleMania is already past us. I'm not going to sit here and complain about it. Too many people have already done it. The only thing I am going to bring up is the fact that a lot of people have pointed this out. I'm sure you've heard it from a lot of people. But how long are they going to keep outpricing the average fan? As far as I know, they still don't do house shows anymore. Raw, SmackDown, the main PLE. The tickets have gone through the roof on Raw prices, SmackDown prices. The merchandise, such as t-shirts have gone up. The food at the arenas obviously can't be controlled by price, but everything is just blown apart exponentially. And with the average person not making as much money as they did, with grocery prices being up, gas prices, home price, just everything. We're going through a huge, recession here. The average person used to be able to afford to go to a show and bring their kids or just go by themselves with a group of friends. Everything has just blown up. And it's frustrating, not only for me, but for a lot of people that I know the average person doesn't have just a couple $1,000s sitting around on their bank account to just, yep, let's go. And, I know you can get discount tickets sometimes if you wait long enough. And some people just say, well, save your money. Okay, here's the thing. You can't outwork poverty. You can't outwork crappy wages. You can't outwork inflation. It's impossible. They're saying, people say, cancel some of your streaming services. Don't go out to eat. Don't do this, don't do that. There's only so many things that you could take away from a person and rationalize it of okay, well, if I didn't have this, this, and this, it's no. Everything is so much more expensive than it was. And you have the boomer generation going, oh, well, I bought a house at your age and had a family. Yeah, well, you also bought the house for $50,000. Big difference. Now you can't even get a decent sized house for less than over $175,000, $200,000, which you want a shithole. And banks don't want to give out loans. The interest rates are through the roof. Everything is just blown up. And luckily, I was able to get in when the interest rates were super low during, COVID. But I couldn't do that now. I rented for a long time. And when people go, why are you renting? You're throwing money down the toilet. Well, because banks think that, that person can afford this much in rent. And you would think that they would go, okay, well, I guess they could afford that in a mortgage too. They don't. It's if I'm paying this much in rent and that's going out every month, how do you expect someone to save money? If you're paying, a decent size rent, which my understanding, the average 1 or 2 bedroom, you're paying through the roof anyway, almost $700-800, sometimes more. I don't know. It pisses me off that the average person can no longer take their family to go see a show anymore. I was able to go do that a lot when I was a kid. It was expensive in those days, but it wasn't anywhere near what it is now. I looked at some of the ticket prices, even, the last show that I went to, it was not that high. AEW ticket prices are not that high. That's why I would suggest supporting the indie companies. Go to AEW, go to, your local indie wrestling companies, whatever they may be around your area. make sure you support those. I mean, I used to be around and in independent wrestling. It was a fun time. A lot of the big stars, don't just come from, the Performance Center and into NXT. Some of them come from the Indies and, other places. Before the Performance Center even existed, you had wrestling schools, and they still do exist, but you have people that have come from the independents and training and stuff like that. But for them to outprice people as much as they have is really going to bite them in the ass eventually. It will. They had to do the whole 25% off tickets the other day, They're going to wish they hadn't been so greedy. It's not going to work out in their favor. There's people that are still going to spend the money. I get that. And I'm not saying boycott WWE. I'm not saying that. But start speaking with your wallet. Start talking with your wallet. That's all I could say. Hopefully the prices go down eventually, or at least to a manageable level. I don't know. But thank you for watching. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button down below. Hit that little bell icon to make sure you get notified all the videos. And I will see you all later.